Good morning. What up? 안녕하세요 from Busan, South Korea. My name is Matt, and I'll be taking over the ITA story page today. Let's get it. All right, so it's a little after 8. I go into work. I don't start till 8:30, so I work 8:30 to 5:30. Going in a little early today. Hope y'all can hear me with the mask. As y'all know, pandemic, so let's go. All right. So as I mentioned, living and teaching in Busan, South Korea, so second biggest city. I live in the Myeongji district, so it's kind of on the outskirts. It's like a brand new city within a city kind of thing. As you can see, all these big high rises, so it's all pretty new, pretty modern. And yeah, here's our walk to school. All right, so a little bit about me. 25 years old, from the U.S., from great state of Maryland. Shout out. So I've been teaching in South Korea for about 3 months now. This isn't my first time teaching abroad. I have spent close to 2 years teaching in Spain. I did 2 separate contracts with the same program in Northwest Spain and most recently in Barcelona. I graduated college in 2017 and got my online TEFL certificate. I knew I was trying to, make moves, see the world, and I figured, teaching English was the best way to do that. So I was off to Spain. As I said, spent the time there. I also have spent time teaching English online, about a year. So after Spain, came home, was teaching online, working another job, and decided to do like a big backpacking trip. It was supposed to be 5 months. Got like 2 months in, got cut off. But so then decided to do South Korea. Was interested in a change of scenery, and I know a lot of people go here to teach English, so it seemed like a good fit and a new challenge. And yeah. So about to be at work. I will be recording within the school. I got permission, but no students. So feel free to ask any questions, and I will try to get to every question today. Let's go. All right, so I am now at school, and I work 8:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday. And so I work with kids age 2 to 5 in a private academy or a hagwon. And so I teach math, science, and I also do gym. I know I would be doing that amongst those ages. And so some days are busier than others. Some days I'll have 4 classes, 5 classes, 6 classes. It all depends per week. But I do not have a homeroom per se. I am actually floating between the classes as the English teacher. All right, so today I have 4 classes starting soon, but I will give a tour of the school soon. But a little bit about it. So it's a brand new school, just opened in September, so I'm part of the first wave of teachers. As I mentioned, I'm the only foreign teacher on my floor. There's a different academy on the top floor, and there's 3 foreign teachers there. Being such a brand new school, the class sizes are quite small, so between 3 kids up until 7. But every week it could change, with the enrollment, and new school year will be starting in March, so it could look a lot different, but they will cap it, from my understanding, at 12 or 13 students. So just finished gym class. As I said, I teach that also. Just tour of the school still. There is a swimming pool. Thankfully, I don't have to do that. It's probably good for everyone else. Here's the gym. So got a lot of stuff to do some English gym. Got all our supplies and stuff. So I do that 5 days a week with all the ages. What up? In between classes, so had a second. Just want to talk about how I got my job. The thing about coming to Korea, I think generally everyone uses recruiters. So I used Corbia Consulting. So I had an interview with them, and from there I specified what I was looking for, what kind of school, class sizes, where I wanted to be. Definitely wanted a city. So from there they match you with schools that fit that criteria. I had my interview with the school with the principal, director, got the job, and then Corbia had helped me gather my documents before and after the interview and preparing me to come to Korea. I know there's a lot of other recruiters out there, but for this job specifically, that's what I use. So I'll Corvia Consulting. So why did I pick Busan? The big thing for me is I'm a city guy. I've lived in Washington, D.C., just most recently lived in Barcelona, so I definitely love the city vibes. There's always something to do. So I knew I wanted a city. And then the big thing with Barcelona, living there and teaching, was just the beach, just having that right there. So the fact that Busan has a beautiful beach, for me, it was kind of a no-brainer, and it was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Y'all, we out. Another school day in the books. We had touched on this earlier. I went through a recruiter, as I said. So they sent a lot of different matches based on your preferences, and from there I decided which school I would pursue. I went through a bunch before I selected this one. Yeah, so you definitely can still find jobs and stuff. They're hiring year round, even with pandemic going on. I know people that are in quarantine still because they just arrived. So yeah, there's definitely the demand is still there. Just search. I can't personally speak on the EPIC program. I know this guy that I work with on the top floor. He did it, but now he's with the Hagwon. You just got to find out what's best for you, because I really can't answer about EPIC because I'm not doing EPIC. So when I was looking to go abroad to Spain in 2017, ITA wasn't the biggest help. They didn't have many connections with the programs and stuff, so I did that all kind of on my own. But with Korea, they definitely steered me in the right direction towards specific recruiters and evaluating contracts, so bigger help in Korea. It's time for the apartment tour, so let's get it. So yeah, I'm on the second floor of this building. No keys, all about the key codes, so here we go. So again, I don't have a key. It's all about the key code. All right, here we go. Welcome to my crib. So it was furnished to a degree. This is the living room. It did not come with this couch, table, or chairs, or mirror for that matter. It's just an empty room, and I had it this way for like 2 months. I got this couch for $10 on Korean, like Craigslist, so awesome. Table from a coworker, chairs from a restaurant that left them outside for be taken. We got a mirror from a coworker as well. So here's my kitchen. I had to buy the microwave and the toaster. Obviously came with the fridge. Instead of an oven, I have a washer machine. Ovens aren't so typical here, so got to make do with that. On to the bedroom. So it did come with the bed. Came with the desk, the chair, the TV. This whole setup right here, very nice. My lacrosse sticks. Anyone know people playing lacrosse here? Please let me know. I have failed. Shout out Maryland. So here we have our little, not a balcony, but extra room. So we got a closet. As opposed to a dryer, it's all about the air drying. So got a little rack here. Not the best view, just some high rises, but yeah. So that's my apartment, just for me. So it's very, very nice. It's brand new. I love it. But yeah, when you come to Korea, you are provided with an apartment rent free. So I don't handle any of that. I am responsible for paying utilities, which I'll put in my expenses, but still very cheap and a great deal. Yeah, so it's not a specific program. Like I said, I went through a recruiter called Corvia Consulting, but the school is just, it's a chain called Hillside Collegiate or Escola. But it's not a specific program. It's just a chain of schools. Yeah, so I am provided with a curriculum. Each month is something different per class, subject. And, but you do have the opportunity to mix it up and, add activities or other things that, could add to the unit. Yeah, so like I said, I knew I wanted a city. This being the second biggest city, it was perfect. Hours look nice. Some Hagwons you're working till late, so 8:30, 5:30. Class sizes look good, and the fact that it was a brand new school, I think, really intrigued me. Yeah, so my recruiter sent me pictures of the apartment before I moved, so I knew what I was getting into, before I got on the plane, before all that. So it wasn't a surprise when I got there. Yeah, so when I'm not teaching, I'm off on the weekends. Always just checking out new food spots, hiking, checking out the beach, the mountains. It's a really big city, always something to do. Just out making moves and just exploring, this, like I said, it's the second biggest city in Korea. Yes, my Korean is not very good. I'm still trying to learn. But yeah, I have been able to get by with the English, but I do hope to have a better grasp of it, in a few months. But yeah, it's definitely definitely a struggle. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is a general question or about Korea specifically, but I got my certificate in 2017, and I mean, I wanted to go to Spain, and I made it work. So it all depends on where you really want to go, because there's jobs all over the world. So it just depends on what country, but no, I mean, I think it's quite easy. Yeah, so for me, definitely the language. I've been to 31 countries in my travels, but only been to, I don't know, 4 or 5 where it's not in the Latin alphabet. So, I just can't read anything, especially when I first arrived. So that was quite difficult, but yeah, definitely learned the language. I mean, I think the best thing about living in Busan is just there's always something to do. I mean, you got the beach, you got mountains, there's so many hikes. I mean, it's just a cosmopolitan city, and there's something here for everyone. And being the second biggest city, yeah, it's a great city. Yeah, so for me, it really all comes back to the language. Being here not too long, really, and my level is so low. So, I'm not being able to have interactions with people because of the communication. So, for me personally, that's been my biggest challenge, and I hope to improve on my Korean. Yeah, so I think the biggest challenge right now is, just differing levels within the class. Each class is different. Some kids are better than others, and following the curriculum, some kids have a great understanding of, let's say, like the thematic unit or story than the other kids, and it's working around that to get everyone. All right, y'all. It's been real, but gotta go to bed. Gotta do this all again tomorrow. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. I hope I addressed all the questions, concerns. I'm putting my Instagrams here. If you have any questions about Spain, Korea, whatever, or just want to see me making moves, that's okay too. But yeah, just some advice. I think if you have any doubts about teaching English abroad, just do it. It's been an amazing journey for me living and teaching in Spain. Now I'm in Korea, and I've seen so much, met so many cool people, and I feel like I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do a lot of things that I've done without, teaching English abroad. So, yeah, just get out there and do it. Good night. Annyeong from Busan, South Korea. We out.